How is it going, boys and girls? We're back with the Cyberrun. No, not Cyberrun. Shadowrun. It's been a couple of days. What happened last time? We did a job. We did the job for this guy. We went and got his supplies, didn't we? Yes, we went and got his lab-grown parts, which I believe we're in a warehouse that was in full lockdown for a number of years. And there was a guy who watched a medieval show, and he turned the place into his kingdom. I don't know if there's anyone else we can talk to, or wants to talk to us. I guess we'll see. She should be a good indication. A little busy right now. Very well. Right, what have we got? Optional, return the samples, yes. Okay, we got Pharma Laboratories and AG Chemi Europa. Before we do that, should we go into our hideout and see if anyone wants to talk to us? I can't remember if we did that last time, but I think the answer is no. Talk to me, Blitz. Hey Chief, what's up? Any thought about the last run? Nope. And if he's saying nothing, I highly suspect the rest will also say nothing. Got nothing to say. Nothing. We can go read the emails on the computer as well. This isn't the best of times. Got a job to prepare for. No one wants to talk to me. I'm the boss. Nothing new. Don't care about old messages. Jobs directory. They're the two that I already have. What's my Alice fund looking like? 21,250. I've barely done fuck all. Access the Shadowlands BBS. Go back. Okay, let's go do a job. That's obviously what we need to do right now. Obviously what we need to do right now. Let's get to work. What should we do? Pharma Laboratory Complex or AG Chemi Europa? A prototype or eliminate the loose ends from your client's botched run. Let's get a prototype. Why not? Standard team. Glory, Dietrich, Eiger. Mark 6. Monolithic, plastic, sterile. The Berlin office of AG Chemi Europa is all of these things and more. The worst qualities of modern corporate culture, all mixed into a toxic stew and sluiced into a single prefab office building. Thankfully, you shouldn't have to stay too long. According to the intel that your client provided, this should be a simple smash and grab operation, and you've been given the tools to carry it out with a minimum of fuss. The Mark 6 prototype, whatever it is waiting for you on the 25th floor. It's time to go and get it. Well, in that case, I shall go and get it. And we have started off in the middle of nowhere. Amazing. Time to explore. Medical supplies shipping crate. The crates have been sealed. The only visible markings are Project Atlas or something like that. Medpack 2, sent to the stash. To the stash with you. After a few moments of sifting through cables, you find a diagnostic connector with the right input to fit the little black box that Herr Schmidt gave you. In we go. The connector slips into the box with a satisfying click. A tiny red light set into the box's lid begins flashing. After a few seconds, it turns solid yellow and then finally shifts to green. At that instant, all of the lights in the garage turn off. A few seconds later, the emergency lighting kicks in. If what Schmidt told you was true, you just killed the main power for most of the building. In theory, the box has also circumvented the security cameras on the building's upper floors. You should be able to intercept the camera feeds by tapping into an elevator console on the 24th floor. Handy little thing. Alright team, let's go. Without warning, your comlink screen bursts into static. You hear a telltale series of clicks. Someone has established an audio connection to your comlink. A moment later, a deep, sonorous voice speaks into your ear. You recognize it instantly. Your lodge contact, Luca Dwyer. Wolf, do not speak. Just listen. I have a proposition for you. I understand that your team is currently en route to retrieve a package, the Mark VI prototype, if I'm not mistaken. My associates and I are interested in acquiring the Mark VI for our own studies. We would like you to deliver the device to us. Once you've acquired the Mark VI, you will proceed back to the garage as planned. There, you will find a transport parked beside your client's van. Load the Mark VI into the transport and you will be rewarded. Herr Schmidt will also be dealt with to protect you from reprisal. To accept our offer, simply proceed as instructed and return the prototype to us. Please note that we need the Mark VI in undamaged condition. If it is not in full working order, it is useless to us. As you know, our organization takes good care of its friends. It would be to your advantage to help us. Good day. The line goes dead with a click. A moment later, the sound of your teammates' comm chatter floods back into your ears. Hold up a sec. Glory stops short. What's going on? I got a comm from a contact of mine. His organization wants the Mark VI for themselves, and they're offering us a lot of money to make that happen. I think I must have misheard you. For a second there, it sounded like you were thinking of stabbing our client in the back for some extra Nguyen. But that can't be what you said, because you know better than to do something like that, right? All I'm saying is that I got the call. I haven't decided what to do yet. I don't know what to tell you other than it's your call. Whatever you choose to do, we'll back you on it. That said, you probably shouldn't make a habit of stabbing our employers in the back. We have enough enemies already, no need to add to the list. We'll worry about it later. There's a long pause. I don't like anything about this, but at the end of the day, I guess it's your call. Make the right one for all of us sakes. Eiger indicates a console built into the wall beside the elevator. This looks like the elevator console. The camera feeds should have been routed here. It only takes a moment to connect your PDA, and immediately visual feeds from all over the building begin to flood in. Now let's find our way upstairs. Gee whiz, this is a big place. Right, I guess let's just start by going south. Toxic gas detected, laboratory lockdown engaged. Laboratory observation. A warning light strobes out from the console at your approach. Large white letters shriek out against a red background. Warning, toxic contaminant detected, COCI2. Phosgene gas. Hazardous material override engaged. Laboratory entrances locked down. Input command. COCI2 or phosgene is a valuable pharmaceutical component. In its gaseous form, it is both colorless and odorless and is extremely toxic. It can be neutralized with the introduction of gaseous ammonia. Access substance library. Connection failed. Use direct terminal in data store. Okay, let's do a save because I don't know if doing this kills me. Introduce gaseous agent. Oh. Gaseous ammonia. Okay. Introducing ammonia gas to laboratory atmosphere. Disengage lockdown. Wonderful. Scientist lays dead beside a small pile of smashed glass and a number of beakers. Why can't I want to read it again. It's too quick. Combat sim can go to the stash. There's a note over here. Read fast. On the counter is a note, carefully transcribed in neat handwriting. The paper bears the letterhead of Senior Executive Lennart Stromberg. I'm still waiting for that report. When I said ASAP, I meant I needed it yesterday. Stay until you've completed the tests, then leave the report on my desk. The door code is 54139. Do this tonight. I'll expect to see it waiting for me when I arrive tomorrow. Stromberg. Okay, very good. This computer is powered on, but in sleep mode. When the screen comes to life, you find a half-written text file on the screen. The timestamp on the most recent edit tells you that it was written just a few minutes ago. I didn't sleep last night. Doesn't look like I'm going to sleep tonight either. My last test batch failed. My fault. I got the mixture wrong. Sloppy work, Jensen. I can barely keep my eyes open. Got to try again, though. No excuses in this office. I despise relying on stimulants, but I've got no choice. Got to keep going. Progress marches on. Starting a new batch. If Haushofer's pet isn't ready to be tested tomorrow, well, best not think about that. Got to concentrate. Remember lab safety. Keep alert, keep awake. One wrong move could spell disaster. Glancing at the menu, it looks like there are log entries reaching back for 2 weeks. All of the entries are attributed to the same author, and none of them appear to be password protected. 2 weeks ago. The new formula arrived today. Formula 17. I swear, whoever names these things must have no imagination at all. Formula 17? Honestly. Still, I can't wait to start working with it. From what I've read, early clinical trials were promising in the extreme. Amazingly potent, this stuff. And increased potency means less frequent injections, at a lower dosage. There's nothing not to like. Despite my enthusiasm, there is still much to be done. Speeding up absorption rates is first on the list, and I have some concerns regarding the subject's immune reactions. Perhaps the formula could be tailored on a patient-by-patient basis. Tailoring doses to individual patients has worked wonders. The key was taking a gene therapy-based approach. They've been using it in medicine for ages, so why not apply the same logic here? So, in a nutshell, I've used the subject's own DNA to delude their immune system into believing that Formula 17 belongs in their bodies. Simple and effective. This approach has helped to increase the formula's absorption rate, as well as significantly reducing incidents of rejection. Unfortunately, it also rules out an easily mass-produced product, but I'm convinced the results will justify the additional cost. A week! He waits an entire week before telling me that tailoring the mixture is an unacceptable solution, and then he tells me the trials are to begin tomorrow. I have no time, and Geisbrecht's applying so much pressure that I can barely think, bastard. Haushofer's probably threatening him. All of them can rot. Maybe now that Haushofer's playing Heat the Sheets with Geisbrecht's secretary, he'll learn to lighten up. We can only hope. Anyway, I have some new ideas to move forward with the formula. Admittedly, they're far-fetched, possibly even dangerous. But if I don't start producing some results, I get the feeling that it won't be my problem for much longer. Wish me luck, Journal. It's science time. I'm afraid you died. Authorization required for access to executive elevator. Examine the keypad in Astral. Your third eye slips open, revealing the hidden world of the astral plane. Several of the buttons on the keypad faintly flimmer. 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. Each of these buttons has been pressed recently. The residue of life clings to them, shimmering against the grey. You cannot tell in which order. Okay, Coke. Thanks. 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. Was that the same as the... Nope. Okay, let's keep going. This place is gigantic. Gemini Willikers. Hey, there's people in there. I presume they're security. Can I summon a spirit? Hello, spirits. You reach out into the astral plane, beckoning to any spirits that might be listening. Eventually you receive a response. A feeling of comfort washes over you as a spirit of the hearth makes itself manifest. I am the spirit of this domain. You have summoned me, and so I am yours. How may I serve? How do I get to the next floor? I know little of the next floor. It is warded against my kind. However, there is a box that climbs a tunnel, like the one that you came in. Few use this box. It is on the far side of the building. But this is my domain, and I see it as well as I do the rest. You say that few people ever use the elevator. Who have you seen using it? Until recently, only one, a human man. There is a pause as the spirit collects its thoughts. Now, the man, but also a woman, never at the same time as the man. Last night there was a change. A group rode the elevator, towing something foul. It bled a cloud of corruption into the astral plane. I fled from it. I had no choice. I can still feel the wrongness of it oozing down from above, polluting the magic of this place. Thanks, Spirit. What's on the floor above? I know little about what's above. The wards are too strong for spirit kind to penetrate. Only bland, physical creatures such as yourself may pass. Bland? Tell me about the man. His aura is dark and cold. Others move from his path, and flashes of fear spread through the auras of all those around him. He believes himself to be of great import. Each day upon his arrival, he travels above. He remains in that place until the sun falls, then he leaves to return the next day. Tell me about the woman. Her aura shines bright with energy, but I see flecks of the man's darkness beginning to take hold within her. On the rare occasion that I have seen them together, her aura reaches out to meet his. She offers her energy and brightness to him, and she does it willingly. How she can stand to feed such a connection eludes me. But then, you physical creatures have always been a mystery to me. The woman also serves another man. She follows him, cleans for him, provides for him. He lacks the strength and darkness of the man from above, and clearly fears him. But the woman cares for him all the same. Tell me about this foulness. I can tell you little. It was shielded from my sight. Yet such great pain and sorrow can never be fully hidden. From the cracks in its armor poured a foul cloud of wrongness and death. It left a stain on everything it passed, and I was afraid. Most terribly of all, I sensed a presence, very deep, a twisted nexus of pain and loathing, suspended in the cloud of filth, and in the center of that cloud, awareness. How do I get into the elevator? All who enter the elevator, as you call it, first perform a ritual of entrance, a series of strange tapping motions on the pad mounted beside it. The man has done this always. After she was summoned, the woman took up the ritual as well. How was this woman summoned? The summons was delivered via parchment. Ever since then, she has regularly travelled above. And what of the parchment? It was set aflame, then discarded. Destroyed? Some yet remain. Where? It was discarded along with the myriad refuse that you meat beings produce. From there, it was moved to a larger receptacle to await removal. I assume that it's still there. 3 receptacles sit together behind the most distant door in the room. The furthest from us now holds what you seek. Where does the woman sit? The woman sits behind the closest door, when she is not visiting the dark man above. Do you know the ritual? No. I know little about your technology, and what I do know has not enticed me to learn more. Enough. Return. From whence you came, spirit. Senior Executive Lennart Stromberg, Secretary Annika Schroeder. Door is closed and locked. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 9. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 9. 1, 3, 4, 5, 4, 1, 3, 9. Code accepted, door unlocked. Stack of business cards on the desk reveal that it belongs to one Annika Schroeder. A cursory search reveals that the desk's drawers are stuffed full of lewd love notes, all hastily written on scraps of office stationery. Exploring Annika's desk is like embarking on an odyssey of filth. 30 seconds in and you've already learned 3 new euphemisms for sex in a storage closet, as well as exciting new definitions for a variety of common office terms. Thankfully, your search also turns up something of more immediate value. A scrap of paper with a name and a 5-digit code scribbled on it. Haushofer, 84792. On the desk is a file folder named Project Atlas. The folder is empty except for a single note. Moved to digital archive and locked under executive authorization. And nothing else. Awesome. Junior Executive Werner Hardegger. This guy doesn't even have a lock on his door. Pah. On the bar are expensive bottles of alcohol. Most of them look expensive. Or a number of bottles. Most of them look expensive. Examine the bottles. Upon closer inspection, you can see that the bottles on top of the bar aren't terribly exciting. Good booze, certainly, but nothing to write home about. Tucked away under the bar, however, you find an unopened bottle of Islay Scotch. The handwritten label announces it is the first bottle from a batch distilled nearly 50 years ago, aged in a cask that had once held Amontillado. To the right buyer, this could be worth some serious money. At first glance, the terminal appears unremarkable. Its password locked and a cheerful screensaver marches across the display. Upon closer inspection, you notice something. Interspersed among the colourful bouncing sprites of the screensaver, there is a symbol you recognise, the dead drop marker of the Schrock-Wellenreiter. As you study the message, a green light winks on above the terminal's display. The recording light of a pinhole camera. The screensaver disappears and the screen floods with glowing green text. Contributor 1432 recognized. Welcome, Wolf. This is an open request for information about the projects and material prototypes being developed at this facility. It is known that a synthetic drug is being developed here in support of a project called Atlas. In addition, a functional prototype called Mark 6 has been developed. The first contributor to provide us with the project data for Atlas, the chemical formula for this new drug, and visual records of the Mark 6 in operation will be handsomely rewarded. All three pieces of information are required for a payout. AG Chemi Europa is known to be a heartless corporation with little regard for metahuman safety or morality. They guard their secrets jealously and seek to hoard all information gained for themselves. This behavior cannot be allowed to go unpunished. What they know, all shall know. No longer will they hide their secrets in the shadows. The timely delivery of this information will be well rewarded. Freedom, equality, information. Schrock-Wellenreiter. Building maintenance. Partially burned code 847. Data store records. Welcome to the AGC Data Library Archive and Employee Records System. Text entry field awaits your query. Atlas. Executive level authorization required. Enter the authorization code. Bypass. Authorization accepted. Welcome, Herr Stromberg. Mark 6 prototype data stored under Project Atlas heading. Redirecting inquiry Project Atlas. Volumes of information begin to flit across the screen. A good half of what you're seeing has been redacted, and the rest is written in impossibly dense corpse speak. Yeah, I can attempt to decipher the corpse speak. You scan the archived information, collating it in your head as you go. Within a few seconds, a picture begins to form in your mind. From what you can tell, the ultimate goal of Project Atlas is to circumvent the effects of essence loss in metahuman subjects. Apparently, a number of working prototypes have been built over the last year to test the theories put forward by project scientists. The most recent of these has been designated Mark 6. The report isn't all sunshines and rainbows. There are death reports in here. The mortality rate among test subjects has been appallingly high. The report also makes reference to Formula 17, a substance that's being developed in support of Project Atlas. Download the data. Visual records. VP level authorization required. Do you wish to proceed? Let's just say no for a second so that I can do a save. And then we'll do another search. Visual records. Yes, I wish to proceed. Authorization accepted. Welcome here, Houseoffer. There are too many records here to sort through quickly. A quick scan reveals the following details. Recordings of laboratory experiments on metahumans, images of an extensive series of cyber surgeries being performed upon a large troll, recordings of that same troll carving his way through opponents with a massive axe, and gun cam footage from what appears to be a vehicle-mounted chain gun. The weapon has been photographed tearing apart a variety of targets, both artificial and organic. Copy those down. Go back. Go back. Right, what do I have left? Return the prototype to the lodge, find the drug formula, and the third data file. So I guess if there's going to be anything about this formula, it will be in here. Maybe now that I know about it, I can search. Oh wait, why don't I, in here, Formula 17? That makes more sense, right? A complex chemical formula displays on screen along with a series of notes. Formula 17 appears to be a drug designed to suppress higher brain functions, specifically those functions related to emotional responses and decision-making skills. From what you can tell, the overall purpose of the drug is to render a subject submissive and pliant. The notes go on to suggest that Formula 17 was developed as a component for a larger project called Atlas. Apparently, Atlas has something to do with cybernetic augmentation. Formula 17 was developed to help reduce the incident of a rejection in Project Atlas's test subjects. Recent trials of the formula have been extremely encouraging. While initially a serious concern, fatalities have recently dropped off to a statistically insignificant level. The document is accompanied by a fairly extensive record of testing performed on metahuman subjects, along with the death records over the course of the project. The Shockwell writer will be interested in all of this information. According to their charter, sharing this information with the world would be a top priority. In the wrong hands, however, this formula could cause immense harm. There we go. Back away. So now we got get to the 25th floor, return the thingy, and that's it. But it's marvellous, isn't it? I'm assuming if we come in here, they all start attacking us. So I'm going to save the game. And then open the door and see if we can bullshit our way through. We can't bullshit our way through. I think he died. You fucks. Absolute fucks. You know what? I want this to be a clean mission. I'm not interested in a fight in there. You know, they're just trying to do a job. It has nothing to do with the fact that I was losing. Let's get down here, get to the elevator. We know found in a trash bin in the Genesis closet. It's badly burnt, but the first few letters of each line can be made out. And I could more get if LA cod 847. So it's 847. Eight, 4, 7, 2, 9. 8, 4, 7, 2, 9. 8, 4, 7, 9, 2. The elevator whisks you upwards towards the executive level 25th floor. As expected, the run has been relatively smooth sailing so far. A chime breaks the silence as the elevator glides to a stop. The Mark 6 is somewhere on this floor. All you have to do is find it. The emergency lights wink out, leaving you in darkness. A moment later, the building lights flip on, cranked all the way up to full illumination. The light is uncomfortably bright. A quick check of your comm link shows that your security feed has been terminated. Instead of a command view of the 24th floor, you find yourself staring at a blank screen. Well, that can't be good. Yeah, you said that again. The door slides open with a pneumatic hiss. An enormous figure fills your vision. It stands motionless by a console in the corner of the room. Almost every inch of the thing is covered in dull steel and gleaming chrome. Its mechanical arms end in articulated hands that wouldn't look out of place on an industrial machine. Bulky, cumbersome things designed for crushing power rather than finesse. Clutched in one of those crushing hands, a chain gun glints with sinister purpose. That shouldn't be possible. Nothing can be implanted with that much chrome and live. Yeah, Dietrich shakes his head. Yeah, this isn't right. Well, whatever it isn't moving. I think that it's on standby. The lights are on, but nobody's home. The figure stands completely still, but its eyeless head fidgets in agitation. Something about it reminds you of a snake tasting the air. Off to one side, the screen of a control console glows cheerfully in the gloom. Let's go finger this console. Mark 6 Cyber Zombie Prototype Control Console. Activates. The Mark 6 prototype is the exclusive property of AG Chemi Europa. Unauthorized access is prohibited. To put the prototype into demonstration mode, you may activate its systems from the following menu. Alternately, the system can be directly piloted via a remote control rig. Press any key to continue. Let's read its aura. Your third eye slides open. Instantly, the drab ugliness of the mundane world is washed away, obliterated by the glowing energies of the astral plane. Something's wrong here, very wrong. The cyber zombie's aura is almost completely black. To your horror, the light of your own aura seems to be drawn towards it. You feel a twisting sensation in your gut, and it takes all of your willpower to keep from blacking out. I'll keep looking. You force yourself to continue staring into the gaping wound that is the cyber zombie's aura. Slowly, your vision begins to adjust, and behind the darkness, you can see a glimmer of colour. Somehow, buried under a mountain of chrome and steel, there's a part of this thing that's still capable of thinking, of feeling, and that soft, living core is shrieking in pain. Reflexively, your third eye clenches shut. The colour and beauty of the astral plane disappear from view, taking the horror of the cyber zombie's aura with them. A single thought echoes through your head, backed by an iron will that is not your own. A message from a mind that has been severed from its body, but is still very much alive. Kill me. Shuddering, you emerge from your reverie. You're once again standing before the control console. The cyber zombie stands unmoving, just as it did before. Mark 6 prototype demo model. The Mark 6 prototype incorporates top-of-the-line cyberware from all AG Chemi Europa subsidiaries, including the Zeiss Deadsight Laser Designator, BUT Heavy Industries Powerlift Industrial Cyberarms, and the brand new Zeiss Sense Shell Cyberskull. Where necessary, competitors' products have been incorporated into the platform. Ari's dermal plating, Universal Omnitech move-by-wire, etc. These systems should be considered placeholders for this proof-of-concept prototype. The biological component of the Mark 6 was selected for size and durability by General Genetics Worldwide. All autonomous functions necessary to maintain the biological component are original to the component itself and should self-regulate within operational limits. As a proof-of-concept demonstration model, the Mark 6 was designed for remote operation. A Zeiss eye-in-the-sky drone control system has been incorporated into the Mark 6 Cyberskull. Comlink control is also possible for casual control, but for product demonstration purposes, use of the drone control system is advised. Armaments. The Mark 6 prototype comes equipped with an Ares Vanquisher vehicular rotary cannon to demonstrate the Mark 6's actuated strength and recoil suppression capabilities. The model also is equipped with a global polymers monofilament axe. For demonstration purposes, this weapon has been designed with a heft well beyond the lifting capacity of any unaugmented metahuman. The Mark 6, of course, can swing it with ease. Long-term goals. In demonstrating the Mark 6's combat capabilities, it is this officer's hope that AG Chemi Europa's newly developed Formula 17 cybernetic free agent will prove its value to the board of directors, both as an astonishing technical achievement and as a lucrative new revenue stream for the company. Albrecht Haushofer, Senior VP, Berlin Facility. Have Glory examine it. Glory nods and steps forward. As she stands next to the cyber zombie, you can't help but notice how much chrome riddles her own body. The cyberware is high grade, quality stuff, but not mil-spec. The arms look industrial in design. Interesting choice, but there's nothing wrong with it. Huh, the control system looks interesting. Like a drone control interface, but it's wired into the base of the skull. From the positioning, I'd say it's connected directly to the thing's brainstem. Glory takes a closer look at the cyber zombie's control module. A moment later, she takes a sudden half-step back. She turns to look at you, a disgusted look on her face. Wolf, listen to me. We have to kill this thing. This thing is our payday, Glory. Explain yourself. This troll, it's still conscious. He's still conscious. They've outfitted him with an inhibitor chip. He's trapped in his own body, screaming to get out. This isn't just a prototype, Wolf. This is a person. We can't just cash him in for a paycheck. Can you do anything about it? Help him in some way? She takes another look at the control module. No promises, but I can try. Go on then. Not here. Let's get him down to the garage first. I want to have the van close by in case anything goes wrong. In the meantime, we're going to have to activate him. She falls back to her regular position in the group. Just remember, Wolf, that's a man you're giving orders to, not a machine. This cyber zombie's control system is very similar to a standard, albeit high-end drone rigging system. It looks as though it should be a fairly simple task to rig into it. It will still drive itself. However, your drone control rig should allow it to react to your commands much faster. Okay. Your consciousness slips into the Mark 6 as easily as it would any other drone, but the sensation is strange. You flex your fingers and the cyber zombie responds, but it responds too quickly, too eagerly. It almost seems to intuit your command before you finish giving them. You feel a strange tickling sensation in your spine, coupled with a gnawing sense of unease. The Mark 6 stands ready, its crushing hands flexing in anticipation, slave to your command. Activate the cyber zombie. With a mental command, you activate the Mark 6. It takes a step forward, and you can hear the whir of actuators calibrating to adjust to its weight. A few seconds later, the whirring sound dies down. It relaxes into a slight crouch. Follow and protect. Protocol engaged. Okay. Come on then, boy. I imagine there's going to be a fight in here. Oh, hello. The knight-errant captain takes a half step towards you. Magnified by his mass speakers, his voice comes out like the roar of some great beast. Drop your weapons and step away from the prototype. Do it now. Easy there, Tiger. Let's talk this over. We're knight-errant, fool. We don't talk things over with thief scum like you. You will comply with my order or you'll die. The choice is yours. But play nice or I'll have my new cyber zombie cut you all down. The knight-errant captain pauses a moment before responding. When he speaks, his voice is dripping with scorn. Try it. See what happens. I don't like the sound of that. Do you honestly think that they didn't install a safeguard in that thing? That we couldn't take it back from you at a moment's notice? Now drop your weapons or I'll have the abomination tear you in half. Come on, man. Can't we talk about this like civilized people? Stop wasting my time. Get your ass on the floor or get ready to have a one-on-one with the Almighty. Right, well I tried. Whatcha! For fuck's sake, you asshole. Stop missing! Jesus Christ. Are you joking? Go and heal yourself and get into cover, for fuck's sake. You're gonna miss, because of course you are. Why wouldn't you miss? Got any grenades actually? Let's like. Uh-oh. Right, I really need you to kill this guy, Glory. Why are you so shit at hitting, though? You got any items? Fuck! Nice. Right then. Start fucking some of these people up, shall we? Jesus Christ. Right, well done. Stop missing! Fucking 1 damage. Jesus Christ. Right, we're doing good. We're doing good, everybody. Well done, girlie. Yeah, aim it directly at Glory, why not? Hope you're pleased with yourself. Right. That could have gone better, couldn't it, everybody? Locked. Looks like security has control of the doors. Fuck, maybe I should have killed security. Target spotted. Engaging. Oh, fireworks going on outside. That's nice. I got my own firework display. You, young man, I want you to haste her. Gloria, I want you to use a kit on him. I now want you to target that rigger, bring her down, ideally with more damage than that. That was not great. Fuck are you doing? Right. Fireball. Very good at throwing that far, are you? Ah, girl. Ow. Who have we got? You're a guard, you're a mage, you're a captain, you're a guard. Well done, you absolute cunt! Let's give Iger some accuracy. Reload your gun. Kill some of these bastards. Target spotted, activating remote control rig. Are you indeed? Are you indeed, indeed? Oh my god, I didn't even manage it. No. I said no. Whew. Yay. Right, what have we got? Is anyone here wounded? I'll be honest, you weren't supposed to come out of here that quickly. I am slightly behind where I should be. Right, come on guys, you've got some sprinting to do, I'm afraid. You shot you out. Line of sight blocked? The fuck do you mean? How is my line of sight to them blocked when they shot me a moment ago? That's annoying. What in the shit was that? Who's wounded? 14, 10. There are only 3. He's not wounded. And I can't. Oh, Iger. Bada bing, bada boom. I presume I'm coming up here. Fucking hell, is there a load of people in there as well? There was a door console there, I could have probably got through. Bugger! I don't think I really need to go in there, so I think what I'll probably do is bring him up here, and then over here. Hi boys. Fuck. Fuck! I clicked on the wrong person. Ah! I hate myself. You get over here. Get your snipey snipe out. Oh, nice. Well done. 8 damage. Come on, man. Ow! Ow! The fuck are they falling back to? It's quite hard to see. At what point I can start seeing some of these people. Oh good, my gun's out of bullets as well. Of course it fucking is. Nicely done. Why are they such good shots? Okay. Okay, here we go. Mr. Wolf. You are going to. You're going to kill that person. Actually. Right, Mr. Wolf. Well done, well done, well done. Makes a lot of sense for that person today. Missed at 91%. Come on. I don't believe it. Rehaste you. Ah well. Oh, now it lets me heal him. I didn't think I could do anything with that guy. Nice. 20 damage, 2 damage. You were just straight up blocked. That's what I like to see. Everyone snipe this guy from as far away as possible and miss every time. Nice. Right, let's get out of here. You step into the garage, prototype in tow. Before you are 2 vehicles that you knew would be waiting, your client's van and the lodgers. Decision time, boss. We've got 2 different clients and they both want the same thing. He shakes his head. Can't say that I like the idea of giving this thing to either of them. Dietrich's right. We're not talking about a piece of merchandise. There's a living troll buried under all that chrome. Sure call, boss. Can't say I envy you the decision. So there's Herr Schmidt, there's the lodge, and there is... As you approach the Mark 6, its head turns to track you, its body held at rigid attention. God, that's eerie. It's almost like it's waiting for something. Kill it! The cyber zombie doesn't so much as twitch as you step up behind it. In a single motion, pull your weapon, take aim and fire. For all of its augmentations, the Mark 6 still has plenty of meat left on its body. Your bullet rips through muscle, sinew and fat before lodging in the base of its spine. It drops like a puppet with its strings cut, dead before it hits the floor. Glory looks into your eyes and you can see a flicker of warmth. That was the right choice, Wolf. He clearly wanted to die. She glances down at the Mark 6's body. Let's load the body into the van. Herr Schmidt won't be happy, but to hell with him. He never said that the Mark 6 had to be returned alive. Yep. The back of Herr Schmidt's van is easily roomy enough to hold the corpse of the Mark 6. Your subway car is empty on the return trip to the cruise bazaar. This stretch of the sprawling U-Bahn tunnel system doesn't see much use. It seems, at least not at this hour. As the train rattles on, you find yourself lost in thought. Old memories creep, unbidden, to the forefront of your mind. Memories of Monica in the old days and the crew that you used to run with. Memories of success and failure, of wealth and poverty, of good times and bad. Halfway back to the cruise bazaar, you're jolted out of your reverie by a buzzing sound. Your comlink. You're receiving a call. Your comlink buzzes. A quick glance at the screen tells you that Amsel is on the line. You pick up and his voice fills your ear. Wolf, I trust I'm catching you at a good time? Yeah, I'm on the train back to the cruise bazaar. Good, I have news. In your absence, I've made contact with another prospective client, a rather elusive woman of Atlanta descent. Aztlana descent. She calls herself Frau Müller. She would not discuss the specifics of the job with me, but she did tell me that she was offering for the work 36,000 Nuyen, an impressive enough sum for to justify consultation. When does she want to meet? In half an hour. If you're on the train back to the cruise bazaar now, you should make it here with time to spare. I insisted that if a meeting were to take place, it would have to be at a location of your choosing. Frau Müller has agreed to this. Where should I tell her to meet you? By the statue in the park. It's public but secluded enough to discuss business. Noted, I'll set up the meeting. There is one other thing. Your comlink cuts to static. A moment later, the lights in the U-Bahn car flicker and wink out. You hear the screeching sound of steel on steel, and the train grinds to a halt. But why? Looks like the whole station's lost power. We should try to find a fuse box. Yes, let's do so. Tunnels collapse, not getting out this way. Looks like some squatters are living in this station. It's fuse box, nothing looks out of order. Add an extra fuse to bathroom. Add an extra fuse to track. Bathroom and track. Try. Let's add a fuse to track. You place the extra fuse into the socket next to track. The status light next to track remains red. Try swapping the old fuse that is in bathroom to track. The tracks in the bathroom go out, the status light next to track lights up green. Looks like the console can extend the nearby bridge. Okay. Mechanical bridge slides over, blah blah blah. So dark in the maintenance area you can barely see your hand in front of your face. There is a door and a locked door. The door is stuck shut. Force it open. You shoulder check the door and the crack of splintering plastic fills your ears. The door pops open. Reset the breaker box. It's them, open fire. What the fuck? Why? But why though? Why are you so mean? Right, you dead. I want you to get your claws out, girl. Damage 9799. You perhaps shouldn't have done that, boy. Go on, Glory. Go get him. Stop missing, Glory. Do something cool. Well done. Are you joking? 70% chance that you miss 3 times in a row. I'm not having it. Try again. Thank you. Encrypted PDA. Was anyone else hurt? I don't think so. Not really. Oh, Gloria's actually. Hello, mercenary captain. What have we got? A mage and an enforcer. You get around here. Shoot the shit out of this mage. Are you fucking joking? Come on. You dead. What was this encrypted PDA then? Found on a mercenary sent to kill you in the U-Bahn station. It doesn't tell me anything about it. Interesting. Doesn't look like the train will be going anywhere with the access bridge extended. Okay. Let's go. The rest of the trip home is uneventful, but one thing is clear, someone's hunting you. This ambush was no chance gang warfare, but an organized attempt on your life. If Green Winters was right, then whoever killed him is now after you. The PDA that you retrieve from your attackers may hold some answers. It's time to return to your safe house and consult Paul Amsel. That's fair. That is fair. Optional is return that. Take the encrypted PDA there. Hello there, my friend. What can I do for you? How's Alexander doing? He's adjusting with difficulty. How's Silk doing? She mentioned. You accepting donations? The work program has been a rousing success. At this point, we only have one more goal in mind to round out the year. I've been in negotiations with Herr Beragazi to lease another building in the Cruise Bazaar. The construction is much more modern and sturdy than our old shelter. Our people will be better protected there. In addition, the extra floor space would open up a host of new options for our organization. One other thing, Wolf. If we reach this goal, I would like to name the building after you. You are, after all, our primary benefactor. With 500 neon, we could make the purchase. Whatever you could spare would be most appreciated. Take it then. Samuel's eyes widen. This is incredibly generous. Thank you, my friend. It's no big deal, Sam. I don't know what to say, Wolf. With this donation, we've reached our final goal. I'll speak to Beragazi immediately and provide him his down payment. The Wolf Civic Center will stand as a monument to your generosity and care. Thank you once again. You have been a godsend to the poor of the Cruise Bazaar, and I will see to it they know it. The Wolf Civic Center. Nice ring to it. I'm happy that you're pleased. You've more than earned it. You accepting donations? Thank you, friend, but no. We have grown as much as I am comfortable with for 1 year, and you have done quite enough already. Know that you have positively impacted the lives of a great many Cruise Bazaar residents, Wolf. Be proud of that fact. Hooray! He doesn't want to talk to me anymore. That's so sad. And neither does she. That's also so sad. Anyone down here want to talk to me? Lucky strike? This is my off time. Alright. Bitch. I have levels up to do. Sharpshooter. Iger gains a customized ranger arms. Or +1 movement, dodge. Now obviously sharpshooter. You, I don't do anything, but he gets a good cyber deck, or we increase his speed by 4. I can see like the flashes of fireworks, but I just can't see them properly. I'm just not quite sat in the right position. It's so sad. Let's give him a good cyber deck. You want... That is Adrenal Pump lasts an additional round, or Adrenal Pump on a downed ally revives them. Yeah. Since you're basically my field medic, the AoE is increased by 1, or it now costs only 1 AP to cast. I think that's probably more worthwhile for me. Nice. Deliver the AG Chemi project data, drug formula, and visual records. The machine accepts. A few moments later, certified credit is spat out. For 1,000 Nuyen. Nice. The phone's old LCD readout displays the text. Freedom, quality, information, Shockwell writer. Nice. Anyone else want to talk to me? I need medical supplies, please. Zach Flash, do you have anything to say? No, you don't. There's no one through here. We have this fellow who isn't interested in talking to me. Let's come and speak to Azerbaijan, whatever he's called. Absence keeps her eyes hidden from view. Excuse me, I have work to do. I have a question for you. Can I see what you're selling? Nothing. Right, Cammy, how are you getting on? Cammy puts calm and grins away. Grins at you, a puckish gleam in her eye. Hey pal, I missed you. Got any stories for me? Actually, I'm curious about Altuk. Cammy purses her lips. Not like I can tell you that you haven't already guessed. Resident spymaster, coffee brewer, outsider. The official Turk of the cruise bazaar. That's not news to me. Yeah, I doubted it. She winks exaggeratedly. You're too smart for me, but you want to know why, right? It works for him. He had to make some sort of living here in the cruise bazaar, you know? He's not got a trade skill. He's not goblin eyes, so he couldn't hang out with Beckenbauer. If he opened a normal shop, he'd be ousted by someone thinking he's stealing their job because he's not German. The coffee shop was a good option because it's obvious. He stays exotic and does what they expect of him, with the intel and stuff. She pulls absent-mindedly at some hair in her face. Sorry about the intel dump. It's not really useful information, and you probably guessed anyway at this point. But you asked, so... You've been a real doll. Gotten way too much information out of me, though. I'll see you around, yeah? That wasn't useful, Cammy. Hey, Luca, are you upset with me? My organization is displeased with your performance in the AG Chemi Europa office. It would have been very easy for you to make some extra new by doing what we asked of you. Now, do we have any other business to conduct? Yeah, whatever, Luca. Altuk smiles at you. Welcome back, honored Effendim. How may I serve you? I recently procured a bottle of 50-year-old Islay. Would you perhaps be interested in acquiring it from me? Islay, you say? Might I examine the merchandise? He takes the bottle and his smile fades for a moment as he becomes all business, examining it with a critical eye. Then, as quickly as it faded, a huge smile is back. Quite a little treasure you found. I'm sorely tempted to ask where from, in hopes of procuring more, you see, but no, it would not be polite. I would perhaps value that bottle at 400. 500 since I've got the only supply in town. Thank you, my friend. I have a buyer already in mind for this little gem. Or perhaps I shall keep it myself. It is good to always have something special on hand for a celebration. Is this booze worth anything? No, not quite. I received cases of this for less discerning clientele. I could offer you maybe 10. Sure. One look at Blitz's face is enough to tell you that something's gnawing at him. He stands beside the table, playing with a coffee spoon. Oh, hey, Wolf, what you need? What's going on, Blitz? Well, Chief, I hate to admit it, but I might be in a little bit of trouble here. Go on. There's an awkward pause, then Blitz plows on ahead. Well, you remember those creditors I told you about? The ones who loaned me all that money? Yes. Yeah, well, as it turns out, some of them are a little less forgiving than I thought they were. Go on. Well, one in particular seems to have taken things kind of personally. How personally are we talking here? I got a package in the mail. It had somebody's thumbs in it. Thumbs? Yeah, thumbs. They came in a cigar box, packed in salt. I have no idea who they belong to. I'm pretty sure they're meant to convey some sort of message. Really? You think so? He nods gravely. Yes, I'm almost certain of it. I don't want to lose my thumbs, Chief. I like my thumbs. I think that I need to pay this guy back. Luckily, I've got a plan. I know how to get myself out of hot water with meat grinder. I've got it all specced out. Let me get this straight. You took a loan from somebody named Meat Grinder. Hey, Chief, come on. I feel bad enough about this already. There's no need to rub it in. Anyway, like I was saying, I can make it all right again, but I need your help to do it. Okay? Well, there's this group out in Dragonfall. They call themselves the Landberg Ring. They're a financial crime organization, and there's a lot of bad blood between them and Meat Grinder's operation. Anyway, back when I was running with the Schwarzherzen, I laid out the groundwork for a hit on the Landberg Ring. I was never able to make good on it, though. For some reason, none of the other gangers ever volunteered to help me out. With your help, I could steal enough money from them to cover my debt and get myself back into Meat Grinder's good graces in the process. So what do you think? A quick run, just you and me, with me in the Matrix and you as my man on the ground. We hit 'em, satisfy my debt, and laugh about it on our way back home. Sound like a plan? Alright, Blitz, but in future you need to be more upfront with me about things like this. No problem, Chief. No problem at all. You can count on me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some last-minute stuff to take care of before we started. Oh, and Wolf. Thanks. No sweat, Blitz. Meet you at the U-Bahn? No. Not as such, Chief. I won't be physically going to Dragonfall. I've seen enough of that place for one lifetime. I'll be jacking in from a terminal that I set up here in the Cruise Bazaar. Great. Okay. Well, I guess I'll send you a comm when I get there. Sounds good, Chief. Thanks again. You asshole. I'm a little busy right now, Chief. Got to get things ready for the bank job after all. Thanks again for helping out with that, by the way. You're alive. You bet your ass I am. No, we'll chat about it after the run. I'll not be an asshole. Dietrich raises a bottle at your approach. Hey again, boss. You need something? I was thinking about what you told me earlier. You said that your idol was going to make you pick a fight that you couldn't win. It's bound to happen eventually, probably sooner rather than later. Isn't there something that you can do to stop that from happening? Well, I suppose I could refuse, but that probably wouldn't be a good idea, especially not now. Remember, boss, the Dragon Slayer is where my magic comes from. If I turn away from him, you better believe he'll turn away from me. Besides which, I don't even know if I can refuse him anymore. He's been with me for so long that I don't know where he stops and I begin. Don't you worry about me, boss. I've known that this was coming my entire life, and when it happens, I'll go down in a blaze of glory, the likes of which you can't even imagine. That's a promise. What if you were to pick a fight with a different kind of dragon? Say maybe a gang or a corporation? That's an interesting idea. If it were big enough and heinous enough, he might be satisfied. I've never tried to bargain or negotiate with the Dragon Slayer before. I'm not sure how I feel about it, and I don't know how he'd take it either. The Dragon Slayer doesn't like to be questioned, and his temper's even shorter than mine. But I'll tell you what, boss, I'll think about it. But you can't really believe that your idol wants you to commit suicide. Of course not. The Dragon Slayer doesn't want me to die, but he does want me to kill dragons. That ain't supposed to be safe or easy. It isn't my idol's fault that I'm getting too old to keep up with his wishes. Any updates on Alex? Nothing new, boss. He's adjusting. It's going to take time. You ever heard of an organization called the Lodge? Lodge. He freezes up. Boss, do you mean the Black Lodge? I don't know. Maybe. Lodge was all that I heard. Let me describe them to you and you can tell me if what I'm saying fits. Shadowy, powerful, secretive as hell, with deep pockets and a penchant for hiding the truth. They conduct all of their business through dupes and go-betweens. Sound about right? That's them in a nutshell. Well, if it's them, and whoever you're talking about, I ain't saying it is, then I'd advise you stay away from them. Stay far, far away. And whatever you do, don't take their money. If you do, they'll own you. I have something to tell you. If you're about to say what I think you are, don't. I don't want to know. Well, tell me what you've heard about this Black Lodge then. I need to know. Well, the story is that the Black Lodge is the mother of all conspiracies. Supposedly, they've been around for hundreds of years. They've been practicing magic since well before the Awakening. Impossible, I know, but I believe it. You ever hear of the Masons, the Knights Templar, the Bavarian Illuminati? They were all puppets of the Black Lodge. None of them knew who they were working for, but the Lodge was there, pulling the strings. They always have been, and they still are today. That's the story. Thanks, Dietrich. Suddenly I could use a drink. Any thoughts about the last run you'd like to share? There was nothing about that run that didn't disgust me. What they did to that troll. It wasn't right, boss, on any level. I don't care what anyone else tells you. You listen to me, Wolf. What you did killing that thing, it was the right call. Yeah, it cost us some Nuyen, but letting that thing live would have been a travesty. Do I have any more DVDs? There is a third DVD. I'll talk to my Paul and then watch the DVD, I think. Igar offers you a shallow nod. Wolf, do you trust me, Igar? She pauses for a moment, considering. Finally she nods. Yeah, I do. You've earned that much. I haven't always agreed with your decisions, Wolf, but you've proven your competence. It's only fair for me to acknowledge it. Then tell me what happened to your team. This again. Why do you even care, Wolf? Because it's pretty clear that if you had your way, you'd still be with them, and a good leader places a priority on knowing his team. She slowly nods. Alright, I'll tell you. I suppose that you deserve to know. What happened to us was Hoffman. He was a rookie, a kid of some big money corporate exec. He looked good on paper, and he made it through KSK training, so he was technically qualified to join the team, but he was way too green to fit in with ours. Still, he wanted to be a hero, and his family had enough clout to get him an assignment of his choosing. I don't know how many strings Hoffman's daddy had to pull to get him assigned to our team, but he pulled them. Hoffman became our 9th squad mate, despite Metzger's objections. Anyway, flash forward a few weeks, we were closing in on one of the Russian mob's major trafficking operations. They'd been using a series of warehouses 50 miles from the border as a staging area for their convoys. Women and girls from Eastern Europe were being housed there. When one of the convoys came, they'd be crammed into cargo containers and hauled across the border into Germany. Go to any brothel along the border and have a look around. Chances are you'll find at least a few girls who spent some time in those warehouses. Slovakians, Hungarians, Poles, you name it. The mob has been smuggling them over for decades. But we were in a position to derail their operation, and we weren't going to let our new addition slow us down. We hit them by surprise and we hit them hard. Fisher and Braun managed to take down the Banshee that they had patrolling the site. Wolf had reconnaissance drones overhead providing Battletech feeds to the rest of us. And we picked off their gunmen one by one. They had the numbers on us, but they didn't know where to hit us. We had eyes in the sky, and we had cover and concealment. Every time they thought they had a fix on us, we'd shift positions and hit them again. They might as well have been fighting ghosts. Then Hoffman broke cover and gave away our position. After that, all hell broke loose. Wolf went down first. The sound of it will haunt me for the rest of my days. An explosion, a choked scream, and then this long, drawn-out gurgling sound. When he died, his drones went down with him, and there were too many hostiles to track without them. I'll spare you the gory details, Wolf. Suffice to say that my team was wiped out. Iger's face clouds again. You can see the tears beginning to well in her eyes. I watched Metzger die. With a visible effort, she clamps down on her emotions and calms herself. When she speaks again, her voice is flat. I took 3 rounds myself. Had to drag myself back across the Oder-Neisse line into Germany. I almost died. So that's the story. My KSK career died with the rest of my team. Our mission was illegal after all, off the books. There was no going back for me, so I wound up here. She looks you in the eye, her tone impassive. Did that tell you everything you wanted to know, fearless leader? Are you satisfied? Yep. So tell me, what's the takeaway from my tale of woe? I figure that you've got to have one. When Monica died, you blamed me because I was new to the team, but I'm not Hoffman. Yeah, I know that. And you're right, to a point. I might have judged you too harshly because of Hoffman. But everything else that I said was justified. Giving you command of this team was a hasty decision, made for the wrong reasons. I stand by that assessment. But between then and now, I've been watching you like a hawk, and you've grown, Wolf. You weren't the right choice to lead before. I still believe that, but you are now. Thanks, Igar. Until next time. This isn't the best of times. Glory's pallid face lights up as you approach. A genuine smile spreads across her lips. Wolf, good to see you. Any thoughts on that last run? A tinge of red crawls up Glory's neck. Wolf, look at me. She extends her sculpted metal arms. Chrome glints in the flickering light. I'm not far from being what that poor troll was. When I think of what they did to him. She looks you in the eye. Her expression remains neutral, but that slight blush has spread from her neck to her cheeks. It wasn't right, and you did the only thing that you could to make it better. You knew that it would cost you, and you did it anyway, because it was right. I won't forget that, Wolf. Not ever. You too, Glory. How are things with you? She pauses for a moment, considering. You know what? I'm happy, actually. For the first time in a long time. I have you to thank for that. So the very next thing you say is like, so tell me all about the shit you've implanted in yourself. Be patient, Wolf. The explanation for that is coming. A look of unease flits across her face. I'm not sure that you're going to like it, though. You needed time, and I gave you time. Are you ready to talk about Fuestel yet? Yeah. Glory looks troubled. More so than you've ever seen her before. Whatever memory she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not going to lie, I haven't been looking forward to this, but yeah, it's time. Wolf, look. I'm about to tell you some things about myself that might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible that you're going to hate me based on what's coming up next. I've accepted that, and if that's what happens, I sincerely believe that I deserve it. She looks you in the eye, her expression grim. So tell me, are you sure you want to keep pushing forward with this? This is important for you, Glory. After everything we've been through, I think we both know that whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks, Wolf. Thanks for being a friend. Did I just get friend-zoned by Glory? So when we left off last time, I'd just moved from the streets of Tübingen to the warm, inviting confines of Fuestel. Marta and I were happy there for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. I should probably take a moment to talk more about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was. He seemed old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang out with the kids on something like a peer level. Best guess, I'd say he was in his mid-20s. He was handsome and well-built, with a neatly trimmed beard and thick brown hair. And there was something else about him, something uncanny. Harrow had this charisma, this raw magnetic attraction that just made people latch onto him. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words and a pat on the shoulder, and Harrow would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Marta, and as much as I thought she loved me, we forgot all about one another when Harrow was around. All that we wanted was to be close to him, to be part of his inner circle, and soon enough we were. For a girl of 17, it was all terribly exciting. Harrow had these rules of living that he would teach us, rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the University of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between an earthly paradise and an anarchist playground. He told us how Fuestel would be the focal point of a new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us that we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. For those of us in the inner sanctum, Harrow would share even more. He had power the likes of which I'd never seen. Not my father's drunken fists, or my own childish experiments, but genuine, incredible power. He said that it came from the horned god, an ancient deity that he venerated. He knew about my talent, latent abilities right away, and he offered to teach me. Naturally, I accepted. I've heard of the Horned God. His followers have a poor reputation, especially among women. Any bad reputation that they might have gained is well deserved, but there was more to it than that, as you'll see. Hang with me, Wolf. Rough waters ahead. So I became Harrow's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy, and Nietzschean ethics. Above all, he taught me to connect with his Horned God, and through it I learned power and arrogance, and it was all downhill from there. For the next few years I lived at Fuerstel as Harrow's enforcer and right-hand girl. I was also his sometimes wife and concubine, but that was a distinction that I shared with all of the girls of the commune, including my beloved Marta. I came to learn that she'd been his long before she met me, but by that point I didn't care. I'd embraced the rules of living. I was Harrow's creature through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Other fun facts about those years: I learned cruelty. I had power now, and my new idol encouraged me to use it. Harrow did the same. Any children who didn't pull their weight were subjected to my tender mercies, and I was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I also came to learn that Harrow's Horned God was not the Eichenfürst worshipped by throwback cults across Germany. It was certainly a god with horns, but it came from an altogether different tradition. Care to hazard a guess? The devil? In the magically active community, we refer to it as the adversary, but yeah, same being more or less. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me my power, was the antithesis of everything that's right and good. And you know what? I didn't care. In our time together, Harrow and I committed more atrocities than I could count. At this point, I was onto all of his tricks. I knew that Fuerstel was nothing more than a honey trap, carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew that the kids who seemed resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques wound up fertilizing the garden. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit. And I knew through it all, Harrow and the adversary were laughing, because I was laughing right there beside them. I don't want to pin the blame for my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I'd like to posit that my father's connection to the Cruiseritters might have helped play into my willingness to serve the adversary. In my warped, indoctrinated little brain, I equated the church with evil, so the opposite of that, I figured, had to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. But I was kidding myself, of course. My new deity was the very definition of bad. Serving it made me bad. End of story. I disagree with you, Glory. I don't think any of this was your fault. Harrow's the one who deserves the blame. And what if he was indoctrinated into the service of the adversary when he was my age? Would he not be at fault anymore either? She shakes her head. No, Wolf. Harrow certainly deserves some of the blame for what I became, maybe even most of it, but personal responsibility has to come into the equation somewhere. I made my own choices, and they were horrible ones. I've accepted that. You should too. Yeah, but I'm just being a good team leader. Glory pauses for a moment to collect herself. She looks haggard. Her pale cheeks are flushed blood red. She swallows hard, then presses forward. Anyway, one day, Harrow invited me on a field trip to Stuttgart. Over the years that I was at Fuerstel, the commune had easily doubled in size. It was thriving, all thanks to the efforts of Marta and the girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to neighbouring cities to lure in the street kids that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were easy to indoctrinate, and because nothing makes the adversary happier than the corruption of the innocent. As we drove out to pick the new recruits, I was already planning ahead. It was a foregone conclusion that I would pay my father a visit. The irony of a group of Cruiseritters getting immolated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me to no end. So when Harrow stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed out on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long since reached the point where I could assert my autonomy, and he knew that I'd be back. I wound up at my folks' house sometime around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ear, telling me what to do. I'd long since learned to listen to its voice. It always rewarded me with extra power when I did its bidding. It told me to knock, so I did. As the door opened, I could feel a torrent of flames welling up in the astral plane all around me. It told me to channel them into the doorway, into my father, so I did. But of course, the person who opened the door wasn't my father, it was my mother. As I watched her flesh blacken and melt, as I heard her scream, I broke into hysterics. I heard the adversary laugh, and at that moment, I realized that it was laughing at me. I'm sorry, Glory. Glory nods, a grim expression on her delicate face. Thanks, we're almost to the end now. Thanks for sticking with me. It was like a lever had been pulled. All at once the bubble popped. I wasn't a powerful servant of the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. I was a ridiculous little fool who'd willingly tied her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realizing all of this was one thing, actually fixing it was something else entirely. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That was the first thing to do. So I bit my lip and did my best to ignore the happy babble of the new recruits on the trip back to Fuesto, and I managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were back at the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe, stole all the commune's resources and ran. I don't know when Harrow realized what I'd done, or whether he even cared. All that I know is that nobody came after me, so I kept running and running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was fairly simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers? The biggest obstacle that I faced during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do you run from something that's tied onto your own soul? Oh God, Glory. The haunted look in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. I walked into the office of the first street doc I could find, pointed at all of the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware that he had on display, and told him to put them into me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that what I was asking for was old and inefficient, better suited to be installed in a museum than a body. He told me that I'd be shredding my essence, and that once it was gone I'd never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Glory looks up at you. Her eyes are sunken and hollow, and the aura of loss about her is palpable. She looks like a woman who has been through hell. That's all for now, Wolf. You've heard the tale. You know why I am the way I am. You know the things I've done, and how much I have to atone for. If you still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now, I need to be alone. Oh, Glory. Inboxes! Salvage DVD. The screen flickers to life and Mallet's face appears. From the shifting background and ambient noise, it's clear that this message was recorded on a portable device. Hoi, Wolf. Just wanted to tell you that I've met with limited success in working on that stack of DVDs. It's a thorny problem, but at least I'm making some headway. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find another recovered disc. I wasn't able to salvage all of the files on it, but I think you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue working on the other DVDs. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't hold out much hope though. They're all badly damaged and suffering from disc rot besides. I'll be in touch. My best to you and your team. Message ends. To Wolf. I guess that I should thank you. You got me out of that horrible job alive. I don't think I could have made it on my own. What happened on that run took everything else away from me, but at least I'm still breathing. The lodge turned me into a killer, Wolf. That gnaws at my guts every minute of every day, and I still can't sleep at night. Innocent people, normal people, died because of what I did. And you know why they made me do it? Because they could. I don't know. Maybe this doesn't bother you. You're a Shadowrunner after all. You kill people all the time. Just another day at the office, huh? Well, I'm not like you. I can't just kill people on the job and forget about it the next day. This is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I don't know how to live like this, but it's better than not living at all. That's what I keep telling myself, and so I figured I might as well tell it to you too. Jay. Oh, Silk. Hi Wolf, this is Silk from the hotel. I hope it's okay that I'm writing to you. Sam gave me your email address. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for everything that you did for me. Kicking my cram habit was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I don't think I would have tried if you hadn't talked to me. To celebrate my newfound sobriety, I've decided to sign on as a volunteer at the charity. Who knows? Maybe giving back to the community will help turn things around in my life. Anyway, thanks again, Wolf. I owe you one. That's nice. You submit the job as finished. A few minutes later, a message pops on the screen. To call your work unsatisfactory would be an understatement. When I said that we wanted the prototype, it should have gone without saying that we wanted it intact and operational. You technically fulfilled the terms of our arrangement, so you'll get paid, but don't ever expect to work for us again. Schmidt. Hooray! That's 11,250 more into the Alice Fund. So I've got the farmer cleanup job to do. Massacre at the Shatnest Schoolhouse. Really attention-grabbing headline, right? That's how the local news has been spinning it. Truth is, the schoolhouse was abandoned years ago and being used as a humanist recruitment and training complex. You're kidding me. A friend of mine was going there after class and he said it was just a community centre. I know none of you are fans of Humanis, but that entire chapter house got wiped clean. There were probably some kids in there off the street who were just looking for a hot meal. Screw Humanis for exploiting them, but they didn't deserve death. Good riddance to those assholes. Streets are a little safer now that they're all buried. Went trolling on the Humanis board and that place was totally wiped out. Volker Stahl was in charge of that chapter house. Good riddance to that piece of dreck. Huh, just got offered a job to geek one of Humanis' lieutenants. Seems like Stahl is dead and a power struggle is already underway. You taking the job? Not my kind of work, but I gave the Johnson an address to one of your tricks dead drops. Cheers, mate. Just finished up drinks with a chummer who was doing some biz up there. The real story is Humanis did not want to pay for services rendered and some hired muscle went crazy and took them all out. So the muscle decided taking the whole place down would get the Nuyen back. Well, that's one way of making a living, I guess. Even if your friend did get screwed out of a bit of Nuyen, I don't think Humanis would even be worth the bullets, especially that many of them. So we've all seen this one floating around the tricks. This is some serious stuff. It's got heavy-duty core written all over it. Not a lot of players could be behind something like this. Ares or SK or maybe one of the big pharma core, say Schering or AGC. Of course, you can never totally discount the Azis either. Tolstoy, my esteemed colleague, this is indeed a recipe for some top-shelf dreck. Whispers from the shadows say that this is sourced straight from the F-state. Hello, boys. I'm a big fan. You know, long-time reader, first-time poster. Quite an interesting concoction you have here. Just itching to cook some up. So many interesting properties to play with. I've already got a few tweaks in mind for my own special version 2.0. You sure that you want to do that? This stuff doesn't play nice, and Core really are bad at sharing their toys. You can, of course, always share their secrets for them. Just gotta make sure that you run a little faster than them. Always running, ACW. Like clockwork. Bandit, I'm touched by your concern, but don't you worry about little old me. I do declare this shall be ever such fun. The time rise up against the corporations is now. Fight for a free Berlin. You just fall out of a time warp, the war is over and we won. Hard to imagine Berlin any freer. Maybe you just need to switch to decaf. As long as any corporation is active anywhere in the F-states, we're all at risk. We must act. Core are good for business and keep their little corners. Why do you think we would help you? How naive to think they will stay there forever. Don't you see they're taking the freedom we all hold so dear? Plans are being made across the F-state. With the shadow community on our side, we shall prevail. The F-state has its own way of dealing with those who step out of line. Take your politics somewhere else. Around here, we've got bills to pay. Shice, what a thrill. Had to do a simple data steal on an SK branch office, turned into an OK. Coral shootout. Never seen first response team arrive that fast in my life. Had a decker offside running damage control. Managed to distract the second team to a different building while we jacked the car the first team came in. Lesson learned, simple when it comes to SK means something else. You stole the Core's response vehicle. Don't they have trackers on those things? Of course they do. Dumped it off the back of the road, off the side of the road with a primed grenade in the back seat, just to be safe. Nice one. Bragging about a nearly failed run on SK. Is it worth them paying a decker to backtrace your Shadowrun account? Any idea what valuable data they were hiding in that branch office? No idea. Money was too good to take any chances with it. Safely delivered it and the transfer cleared. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Right, third DVD. The display goes blank. The face of Green Winters winks into the screen. The timestamp is 2042-805. I was thinking about Adrian today. Not as he was when he disappeared, not as the fabled Dragon Slayer or the big-time CEO for Deal Defense. I was thinking about when we were kids. Well, I was always more of a kid than he was, of course. He's 15 years older than me. In a way, he was more like a parent than a brother. Winters pauses. His gaze drops to an invisible point on the table in front of him. So I was thinking about this time when we were on holiday. Our parents took us out the island of Pole to enjoy the beach. I must have been about 5 years old. Adrian was 20. It'd be his last family vacation with us. A year later, he'd begin his meteoric rise to fame and fortune. But on this trip, he was my brother. And when I fell out of the little paddle boat that our parents rented and started sinking fast in the Baltic, he was the one who dove in to rescue me. You saved my life that day, Adrian. I'll love you forever for that, and I will find you. I owe you that much. Display goes blank. Green Winters appears, 2049-0606. Found an old news article that mentions Adrian from way back in 2036. It was printed in a financial magazine called Das Finanzwesen, one of those chic print-based mags that they produced on the retro crowd. There aren't any clues in here, but it's good to see someone else acknowledge his existence. He clicks an off-screen button and the image of Winters disappears, replaced by a digital scan of a magazine page. SK stock suffers in post-buyout brain drain. In the aftermath of the Dragon Lufwehr's hostile takeover of Seda Krupp Schwerindustrie-Gesellschaft, SKI, a continuing brain drain of high-level executives is causing ongoing worry among company shareholders. The company's stock took a major hit when Lufwehr deposed former CEO Wilhelmina Graf Benoit last August. 3 months later, long-held power positions within the SKI empire continue to empty as the Dragon consolidates its power base. The most recent casualties of Lufwehr's takeover include Alexandra Kobayashi, former COO of Seda Munitions, Matthaus Dohner, former treasurer of Rule Datafax, and Werner Harding, former CEO of Deal Defense. Harding stepped into the role to replace Dr. Adrian Vauclair, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances 2 years ago. Winter's face winks back into the screen. So there you have it. That's what they had to say about Adrian a mere 2 years after his disappearance. My brother, the footnote. While the track does load, it's clearly corrupt. The screen fills with meaningless texts. While this track does load, it's clearly corrupt. A rattling sound fills the air as the disc grinds in its tray. A few seconds later, the screen fills with text. From the desk of Werner Harding. Dr. Vauclair, it is my sad duty to inform you that by unanimous vote of the Aufsichtsrat, your position as CEO of Deal Defense will be terminated at the end of this calendar month. Your continued misallocation of company funds to pursue personal agendas cannot and will not be tolerated any longer. The supervisory board is not unsympathetic to your mental state. The trauma that you endured during your pursuit of the Dragon Furschwing must have been enormous. But your continued obsession with the dragon, the dead dragon I might add, has proven a negative influence on this company and an unjustified drain on the company resources. The board wishes you all the best in your future endeavours. We have prepared a generous severance package to assist you in this time of transition. If there's anything more that we can do to help, please don't hesitate to ask. Werner Harding. Well, well, well. Amsel calls over his shoulder at the sound of your approach. His eyes are glued to his computer display. Wolf, Frau Muller should be on her way, but before you go to the meeting site, I have news. Upon seeing the expression on your face, Amsel's voice becomes grave. It can wait. Tell me what happened. Bad news, my friend. Somebody's hunting us. They set up an ambush on the U-Bahn line. Amsel pauses, then gives a curt nod. Truth be told, I've been expecting that something like this might happen. I'm just glad that you made it out alive. One of the attackers dropped this. Yes, I should be able to extract some information. Give me a moment. He plugs the PDA into his computer and goes to work. A few moments later, he lets out a grunt of dismay. Well, Wolf, I was able to recover a file, but unfortunately, that's all I'll ever be able to pull off this thing. All that anyone will, truth be told. It must have been running some kind of counter-intrusion software. The instant that I gained access, it bricked itself. Amsel disconnects the useless PDA and drops it to the ground. It clatters to a rest on the metal floor. What did you manage to get? A comm file. The audio is all here, but it looks like we've only got video from one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have. He opens the file, and a nightmarishly familiar face appears on screen. Bachmeier. The voice bleats out from Amsel's speaker, filling the room. Audran here. What's your status? Bachmeier's image is garbled, but his voice sounds young and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted him on the U-Bahn, just like you said. Probably on his way to a job. As per your instructions, we're going to try to take him out on his way back. He'll be more vulnerable that way. Hopefully injured and low on ammo too. But only time will tell. Good man. Proceed as instructed. Will do. Kosman's rigging up an ambush spot now. We'll try to make it quick. The orc with the nightmare face nods. Send me a comm when the job's done. Audran out. The image on the computer screen dies. Amsel turns to face you. Well, our scarred friend makes an appearance. Wolf, I suspect that Green Winter's predictions are coming true. I believe that Furschwing is behind this. Under Amsel's patient exterior, you can see the worry that's eating at him. Be on your guard, you and the rest of your team. You made it through this attack relatively unscathed, but next time you might not be so lucky. At least now we have a name to put to the face. Audran. That's not all we have. As I was saying when you first walked in, I've been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence, and coincidentally, enough of that evidence pertains to our scarred friend. You might recall that I said I'd dig into Audran's skin grafts. Well, I did, and the search has finally borne fruit. One of my contacts outside of Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It's a dull, boring job, but it does have its perks. Amsel pulls open a file on the computer. Medical chart opens up. As it turns out, our scarred friend's skin grafts were performed at a legitimate hospital after all. You glance over the chart with a trained eye. A few salient details leap out at you. Firstly, there's almost no personally identifying information listed on the chart. Apparently Audran was delivered to the hospital without any form of ID, and they were unable to find a listing for him in their medical database. His name is listed as Max Musterman, the local equivalent of John Doe. Maybe he's the dragon. Secondly, his injuries are described in great detail. The prognosis was fairly grim. At the time of admission, Audran had sustained third-degree burns over 60% of his body. He'd also been on the receiving end of a massive blunt force trauma. 2 of his ribs were broken and his pelvis had been shattered. On top of these terrible wounds, he was also suffering from radiation toxicity, the chart suggesting that his body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionizing radiation. Without treatment, he almost certainly would have died. Finally, the date of admission catches your attention. Audran was delivered to the hospital on the 25th of September 2039. The admitting nurse estimated his age at the time to be 25. Amsel studies your face as you step back from the computer. Your thoughts? Hold nothing back. I'd like to hear everything that comes to mind. Audran might have spent some time in the SOX. That radiation poisoning didn't happen on its own. Agreed. 5,000 milliserviets is a lot of exposure. Short of basking in the glow of an unshielded reactor, I don't know how he'd have absorbed that much ionizing radiation without spending time in the SOX. Alright, so Audran was heavily irradiated, most likely from time spent in the SOX. What else? Those burns sound like Dragonfire. But if the Firewing burned Audryn, why would he be working for her now? I don't believe that Audryn is working for the Firewing. I believe that he's serving her. On Greenwinter's second DVD, he mentions that there is a cult within the SOX that worships the Firewing, the disciples of the Cleaning Fire. I believe that Audryn belongs to this cult. That's bad news. There's nothing more dangerous than a zealot. My thoughts exactly. A hireling can sometimes be bribed or reasoned with. A pawn can be liberated. But if the Firewing soldiers look upon her as a goddess figure, nothing short of killing her will deter them. And even that might not stop them. So it's possible that Audryn is a dragon cultist. This seems to fit with much of the other information that we've uncovered. Did any other red flags jump out at you? The hospital couldn't ID Audryn. Either somebody covered his tracks for him, or he was living completely off the grid. Indeed, if Audryn were a denizen of the SOX, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. It's a working theory at any rate. So to sum up, Audryn's probably spent some time in the SOX. It's possible that he even lived there as a member of Forshwing's dragon cult, and he's after you. Amsel pauses for a moment before continuing. In my mind, all of this reinforces one fact. We need to find Vauclair, and we need to do it fast. Agreed? Good. And that's all the more reason to gather Alice's fee as quickly as possible. There is a buzzing sound from Paul's wrist. He lifts his hand to look at his PDA. As luck would have it, Frau Muller has arrived. Best of luck with the meeting, Wolf. Remember, this is urgent. We need that money. I'm on it. I'm on it. We're gonna leave. And then I'm gonna end the stream. Saving it, 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 saving it. Wonderful. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm going to catch you next time, which could very well be tomorrow. If it is, I will see you then. If it's not, I'll see you in a different time. Thank you for hanging around and spending some time with me. I love ya. I'll see ya later. Bye-bye.